Rachna, can you confirm is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so first of all, a warm welcome to all of you. For thanks for making up to our Singapore MuleSoft Meetup, February 2024. Uh, today, we have a star speaker with us, Megesh Shunai, who is going to walk us through how we can have like no code integrations easily with MuleSoft Composer. We have a demo planned as well. For our meetup, me and Rachna and till then we three are leading this meetup group as an organizers. So unfortunately, Tilden couldn't make it today due to prior commitments. About me, I am Sumit Ahuja. I have total 9 years of experience in IT technology. I am serving MuleSoft from last 7+ years. I have achieved few key certifications and key positions in MuleSoft as a mentor and as a leader. I am currently working in Johnson and Johnson's as an integration architect. This was all about me. I would like Rachna also to introduce herself. Rachna, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, Sumit. Yeah, hi all. I'm Rachna. I'm currently working as an senior integration engineer with Talentees Singapore, and I'm having around 4 years of experience in integration. Overall, I have around 8 years of experience, and yeah, I'm an MuleSoft mentor. Followed by I have achieved an industry championship, followed by and certifications with respect to integration architect and platform architect. So that's all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachna. And these are safe harbor statements for our meetup. Like we want to say that both the speaker and the host are organizing this meetup. We are doing this in our individual capacity. We are not representing our organizations here, and this is strictly for our learning purpose. Okay, and this is not meant for any promotional activities. So these are just FYI, and we have these housekeeping activities that we plan for every meetup, especially when it's a virtual one. So a recording of this meetup will be uploaded to our event page within 24 hours, so that people who cannot make it, they can have a recorded event later. And we want this session, we encourage this audience to have the sessions as interactive as possible. So we have a chat window available where we urge audience to keep asking questions and make this session as interactive as possible, and give us feedback in the art. So there will be a feedback email which will be triggered after the event. So we want you to help us to help you in a way that if you fill this feedback form in honestly, and if you want us to work on something, definitely we are waiting for that. So please do provide us the feedbacks, valuable feedbacks. With this, I think I will pass on the platform to Megesh. Megesh, are you ready?
Yes, Sumit. I will share my screen and we can get started.
Sure. Go on, please.
And yeah, I hope it's visible.
Yes, it is.
Yep. So let's get started with our first meetup in Singapore MuleSoft community. So, as said, these are the safe harbor statements. And just to repeat that, neither me or neither our host are representing the organizations. We are just doing it in our individual capacity. And this is the agenda for our today's meetup. So again, we got introduced, and then we'll first understand the importance of automation. Then the components of MuleSoft automation package. What is MuleSoft Composer, error handling in MuleSoft Composer, and considerations of using MuleSoft Composer flows. This is all for the agenda. And this is about me. I am Megesh Shenoy. I am a Salesforce developer with 2+ years of experience. Salesforce and a MuleSoft certified developer, a mentor, and I was awarded by MuleSoft with Up and Comers Award as well as with top MuleSoft mentors by MuleSoft very recently. I was also featured as Muley of the Month by MuleSoft, and I am also an answers leader and an active member of Salesforce Trailblazer Community Forum. So beginning with our topic for today, which is like circles around automation. we first need to understand why we need to use the automation, right? It's not like you get up early in the morning and you have all the things ready for you, right? So you don't have to do any kind of stuff, right? So you don't have to take a bath, groom yourself, right? And you can basically use all of these automations to make yourself ready, but this is not the case. So the main advantage of using automation would be improving the efficiency, improve employee productivity, focus on mission critical tasks which cannot be automated, use resources efficiently, exceeding expectations, and do more with less, right? So in a brief, I would say the main advantage of using automation would be to eliminate the tasks which will be more error prone. For examples, for example, there is a automation, like so a company is using SAP and Salesforce, and right now the company wants to send data from SAP to Salesforce, right? In modern day cases as well, many companies use email as an option, where an admin at SAP end and an admin at Salesforce end would send emails across, and they would then store the data in each of the system, right? So this practice is currently taking place in many organizations. And if you think about this, whenever we have some human activity in a task, the I would say the percentage of error occurrence would also increase, right? And the main use of automation is used to, reduce the chances of error chances of error in the business processes, right? So business face a widening transformation delivery gap. Now you all may be familiar with this diagram, right? It's a standard diagram where we showcase the power of MuleSoft, right? So why are we using MuleSoft? And the same thing goes over here as well, right? So the business demands goes on accelerating. For example, you open a company, and the moment you open a company, you see that there are tons of technology available, and each and every company or your customer wants those technology, right? Because they want to operate efficiently, and this goes over here same as well. So we have automation, AI, cloud, SaaS, mobile analytics, right? The If you think about this, the customer demand goes on increasing, but the delivery capacity remains the same. Why? Because unlike many organizations, some organization have, they don't have developers with great skill set, and they have to suffer due to this scenario. And another use case would be they can't let their skilled developers to work on all the projects, right? They just want them to concentrate only a small chunk of project, and this applies same over here as well. So because of which the delivery capacity would, it remains constant, while the transformation delivery gap, it widens and widens, right? And with that, 82% of business teams say that they need access to data and IT capabilities, while only 37% of organizations say that they have the technology and skills to keep the pace, right? So as I said, not many organizations are very lucky in order to cope up with the transformation, or in order to cope up with the demand. So the other part would be like, why to use MuleSoft Composer in this scenario, right? And this is an ideal use case which I talked about. A sales team creates and maintains sales data in Salesforce and orders data in NetSuite. Every time an opportunity record is updated to close one in Salesforce, they want to create a sales order for that product from the opportunity in the NetSuite, right? And as I said, many modern day, I would say, organizations still use email chain as an option to communicate data from Salesforce to NetSuite and NetSuite to Salesforce, or vice versa. So this is an ideal use case when we will be using MuleSoft Composer. So I'm just giving a gist about MuleSoft Composer, and later on I will be deep diving into it. So, uh, and now we go through MuleSoft automation package, where MuleSoft Composer is also a part of it, right? And you all may be having a bigger picture about any point platform, right? That was very first offering from MuleSoft. Then came on Composer, and very recently MuleSoft RP added into this picture, right? And the use case of this entire entire automation package or the architecture would be, For example, in many scenarios, the companies which were founded before 2000 or 1990, right? So in that time, we don't have any SaaS applications present, right? And there were many applications which are legacy applications that didn't have an API exposed, right? For example, these legacy applications were present on premise, so they had a dedicated admin or a human resource sitting over there and manually updating all the records in that system, right? So in this scenario as well, we have a legacy system which don't have an API exposed. So so we use MuleSoft Composer in this scenario, and the other part would be, what is an RPA over here? RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation, which means that this RPA bot can easily access legacy systems and perform human-like activities on that legacy system without actually needing any human resource over there, right, to automate the task. And the other would be then we'll coming down to other part of our automation package, which is Anypoint platform. Now again, you all will be familiar with Anypoint platform. It's basically, it provides API led connectivity where you can connect or integrate multiple systems, right, in a very large scale. There are so many companies that are using MuleSoft as an integration provider because it can seamlessly integrate with many systems, right? There are so many or plenty of connectors available in Anypoint Exchange where you can easily pick any of the connector, and then you can just start integrating those systems, right? So this is an ideal use case for Anypoint platform where you want to integrate on-premise backend systems, multi-cloud environments, and B2B, B2C validate systems and all, right? Because this is a product where you can integrate your modern day applications, and then comes MuleSoft Composer in the picture, right? So MuleSoft Composer is basically your no code automation tool by which you can easily connect any of the systems, right? For example, I can connect to say to Slack, NetSuite, Drop, MuleSoft Anypoint platform, as well as Snowflake, Workday, ServiceNow, right? And RPA bot as well as we have a Gmail connector available in MuleSoft Composer. So an ideal use case would be, for example, a sales like a salesperson is basically creating some, they are marketing something, right? And they have written all the information about that leads on a sheet of paper. Now what the salesperson will be doing is he would be sending that across email to the sales admin in any XYZ organization. So what we can do is we can have a MuleSoft Composer trigger when we receive an email, and then the document would be, so after that MuleSoft RPA can, I would say, process the document. They have an inbuilt capability called OCR, by which you can easily read the text as well as make it in a human readable format, and then it would then send the data back to Composer, right? And the Composer can create leads for you, or account or opportunities in Salesforce, right, or any other external system that you're using. And Endpoint platform would be basically using for data transformations, right? Because Composer isn't efficient of complex data transformations, and so because of which we can use Anypoint platform for this complex data transformations. And whenever you as an organization is opting for Anypoint automation package, you get all of these three products bundled together, right? And Anypoint platform comes with a very minimum capability, while Composer and RPA you can use with the credit points that they are available, right? So this is like all about your MuleSoft automation package. As said, like after introduction of MuleSoft RPA, we can automate anything, empower everyone, and deliver success now, right? Because you can integrate and automate multiple business processes, which involves multiple systems, right from Workday, Salesforce, Google Sheets, and so many modern day SaaS applications as well, right? And you can also access the systems such as legacy systems which don't have an API exposed using MuleSoft RPA. So this is all about your MuleSoft automation package. So you must be wondering again, there are three products, which one to use, right? For example, you come across a scenario, and you are wondering which three products which you can choose. So we have Composer, we have Anypoint platform, and we have RPA. So your first approach, your the first go-to product should be your MuleSoft Composer, then comes Anypoint Platform, and then comes MuleSoft RPA. Why MuleSoft Composer is more simpler than any of the other product is because Composer, it's a low code tool, right? So your business analyst or any other person having no coding experience can to integrate multiple systems, right? So so when using MuleSoft Composer, there is no need of any developer, right, having any coding experience over there. If you know the business process, you can easily use MuleSoft Composer to integrate multiple systems and just automate that particular business process as you want. Then comes MuleSoft RPA. MuleSoft RPA is, if you ask, it's the most powerful platform that you will ever come across your any point. I would say when integrating multiple modern day SaaS applications over here, but Anypoint platform thus requires your developer experience, and hence, an admin or a business analyst having no coding experience would find it more difficult to automate the processes or using Anypoint platform. And then we have MuleSoft RPA. MuleSoft RPA should be least preferred whenever there is a possibility that you can automate it using Composer or Anypoint platform. It's because first of all, it takes time to build your RPA bot processes, and second thing, once you create a bot process that can access or automate the process, what if tomorrow the process changes? Then it becomes quite difficult for you to go and edit that RPA bot process, right? And hence, you need to follow this picture where you have to select MuleSoft Composer if it is possible, because it's more simpler and easy to maintain, because your deployment and everything is being handled by MuleSoft themselves. Then comes MuleSoft Anypoint platform, where you have to create those APIs or Mule applications yourself, and then you have to deploy it upon CloudHub 2.0, CloudHub, or any other, any other, like you have Azure where you can deploy your Mule service. So you can use that, and then we have a MuleSoft RPA.
Megesh, sorry to interrupt. I have just one question with me.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the slide? Yeah. So, like in terms of simpler to complexity, right? So we say that MuleSoft RP is much complex than any point platform, but
Yeah.
MuleSoft RP comes with no code facilities as well, right?
Yeah,
So
as I
what
said,
makes
it
it more
becomes more
complex?
difficult. Yeah, I mean, you are right on that, but there are multiple processes involved, right? First, you have to assess whether the RPA process which you are automating would actually provide you and return on investment, right? So first, you find out that. So there are multiple phases in RPA life cycle as well, where you determine if the RPA, whether it is it's value for money to automate it using MuleSoft RPA, right? And the second thing would be MuleSoft RPA should be only particularly used when accessing legacy systems and automating business process on those legacy systems, because they don't have API exposed, right? And second thing would be the time consumed, right? For Anypoint platform and Composer, they can access modern day SaaS applications by which you can easily automate, right? So the response time would be quite low. But for MuleSoft RPA, it's basically a human like thing happening on the system, right? So the mouse cursor would move around, then it would identify where is the button, and then it would click on the button. Right now you can think it would consume so much of time. What if tomorrow your business process changes, right? For example, I have a document, right? And or else the MuleSoft RPA bot has to navigate to multiple screens, and now you say that your business process is changing because you are now facing multiple challenges in your business and you want to change it, right? You have to again go to your MuleSoft RPA. You have to identify those activity steps, right? And then you have to make changes to it, right? Again, when once you have this RPA bot process there, like RPA bot process designed as well as developed, then you have to deploy it, right? And you have to monitor those things. You have to have a VM available where you can deploy your RPA bot process, right? So you can't just have your created or develop an RPA bot process and run it in your local system. You need it to be secure, right? So that no other activities would interrupt that bot, right? So if you think about this, Composer, the deployment and everything is being handled by MuleSoft. Anypoint platform, it's basically you all will be using Anypoint platform, right? It's for integrating complex no when there are like so many systems involved, you will be using MuleSoft Anypoint platform and then RPA at the bottom. I hope
Okay,
it's clear now.
I got it, got it. But when needed, let's say for a certain business scenario, we can combine Composer and Anypoint platform or Anypoint platform with RP as well, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is basically, as I said, this comes with an automation package, right? So it's any point automation package where all of these three products bundle in a bundle. So you as a business or an organization can use it accordingly, right? It's not a compulsion that, you know, I would just want to use any point platform or you just have to use MuleSoft Composer. You have to use it in such a way that it would provide you a high return on investment, right?
Yeah, and but we can collaborate on business needs as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. These all three products are interoperable together, right? For example, if you look at this diagram,
Mhm.
Anypoint platform, you can by using Anypoint platform, you can make a call out to your MuleSoft RPA bots as well, right? So once you deploy these RPA bots to your Anypoint exchange, an API is automatically created, and then you have multiple methods inside that RPA, right? Where you can make a call out to this MuleSoft RPA using it, right? So this is like, and the same thing goes for Composer as well. Once you when in Composer, you can connect your Composer or to your Anypoint platform, or as well as you can connect your Composer to your MuleSoft RPA. So for example, in our scenario, suppose a lead walk in, right? And we create a record in Salesforce, right? And then you can also trigger a MuleSoft RPA bot process where the bot would go and create a lead, or a create or do some activities in a legacy system which your organization must be using, right?
Sure. There is a request from someone in the attendees that they're asking to go a little slow as per the speed.
Okay,
And
I'll go a bit slow.
regarding the demo, also there is hope from someone that hope to see a demo with OCR. So I'm not sure whether we have planned demo with OCR for today.
Uh, no, we don't have for OCR. If you want particularly with OCR, then we must be having, like, we need to have a more. Uh, right now, our agenda is like more focused on MuleSoft Composer. For OCR, we need to have another session which is more focused on RPA, right? Because RPA too comes with its own challenges, features, and everything, right? So it would obviously take time.
Okay, all right.
If you talk about OCR as well, I did use MuleSoft RPA in past, and in OCR we can use, so in MuleSoft RPA either you can use OCR which is provided by MuleSoft themselves, or else they also have a connector in your MuleSoft RPA where you can make use of AWS OCR, right? So I just know about these things in OCR. If you talk particularly about MuleSoft RPA, and right now we do have another product, a MuleSoft product, right, which is IDP, Identity Document Processing, it's called, I think. So even that does the same thing. So it can, if you upload the document, it can further process the document and extract all the information from that document, right?
Yep, yep, got it. So I hope that answers your questions, Akhilesh and Aliana. So hopefully we'll try to bring OCR demo in our next sessions for sure. We'll note it down. Thank you. Yep. Continue, please.
I'll go ahead. So right now, again going back, we have MuleSoft Composer, which is more simpler. Then we have MuleSoft Anypoint Platform, which is a bit like not very simple but not very complex as well. And then we have a MuleSoft RP at the bottom, right? And I hope you all must be clear upon the reasoning about why we need to go with MuleSoft RPA at first, and then Anypoint Platform and MuleSoft RPA. Again, to repeat myself, MuleSoft RPA is basically an RPA bot which is mimicking a human-like activities, right? So previously you had a legacy system where an human or an admin present at the system would basically do point click type in, right? An RPA bot works exactly the same. It's just that you don't need the human resource over there continuously monitoring, right, or continuously doing the activity. Your MuleSoft RPA can do it for you. And the best part about these three products is that they are interoperable, which means that I can make call out to MuleSoft Composer from any point platform to RPA. MuleSoft Composer can make a call out to RPA as well, right? And then we can also make a call out to any point platform from your MuleSoft RPA. So these all three products are interoperable, which gives an edge over other competitors, right, in this market, because we can automate your processes end to end, right from integrating modern day SaaS applications to integrating your legacy applications using MuleSoft RPA. Now, as said, we also will be going through the personas involved in each of the product, right? So when it comes to MuleSoft Composer and admin or developer, it's best fit for an admin developer or a business analyst as well. Because we have a developer, developers have a great problem solving skills by which they can easily create flows in your composer, right? And then admin can do it for you as well. It's not necessary that developer needs to work on it. If suppose the admin is busy in working on some different projects which involves MuleSoft Anypoint platform, and admin can take up a job and they can easily integrate and automate those business processes, right? Then when it comes to Anypoint platform, we need a developer. It's more focused on developer because first of all, there are like multiple stages in your Anypoint platform as well, where we design, validate, then we develop your APIs, right, or new applications, and then we deploy. For deploying as well, we have so many options present: deploy and secure, right? So it's more suited for developers than admins, because admins don't have those core coding skills, right? So, and they won't be able to go much technical, right? Much technical in it. So, and because of which MuleSoft Anypoint platform is more fitted for developers. Then again, MuleSoft RPA is too focused on developers. As Sumit said, it's low code, it's no code, I would rather say that. So with point and click you can do multiple things in RPA, right? But then again, you need a developer instant over here, because there are so many processes involved even while deploying an RPA bot, right, to your virtual machines over there, monitoring as well as designing those bots, right? So over here, what an admin can do is he can directly go evaluate whether RPA bot is like, we can use MuleSoft RPA bot or not for your automating this business process. If you find that the return on investment is much better, then you can go with MuleSoft RPA. And then when we design your RPA bot process, you have an RPA recorder. So an admin can do it easily because they know the entire business process. But then from here onwards, developer needs to take on the role, because they would be developing that bot, right? That would be involving running multiple scripts in your RPA bot as well. So this is the personas which are involved in each of the products over here. And again, it would be like going from simpler to complex. RPA is at the bottom because it becomes quite difficult to make changes in your RPA bot processes, while it becomes more easier to edit your composer flows, right? So now we'll be going through an implementation demo as well, as said. So this is more focused. So our agenda is like more focused on MuleSoft Composer. And for example, right now we have, so right now we can take any organization, which for example, we can have Dream House or something like that, right? Or Cloud Kicks, which is a standard, say a trailhead examples organization. So over here we have, so right now the sales team at CloudKicks are basically marketing their product in XYZ mall. And what they do is, instead of directly creating the leads, they don't have access to Salesforce, right? So now they would be entering the data in your Google Sheet, right? And they want to create the record in Salesforce, right? And then once a lead record is created in Salesforce, they also want to notify their Slack team. Right now, if you think about this, if you're and day-to-day user of Anypoint platform, you know that all of this is possible by using Anypoint platform, right? Because you already have a Google Sheet connector, you have a Salesforce connector, you have a Slack connector, right? Which does so many options. You don't have to do so many stuff in Anypoint platform, right? But then again, problem comes and you have to drive through the design process, then you have to develop them. Even developing is not simple. Any point platform, I would say, not easy, but it's not simple as well. So this is all about for the use case for today. Before deep diving into Composer, first you need to assess the technical requirements, right? So you have to ask certain questions to yourself. So, do you interface with systems which have APIs? The answer to this question is yes, because we have all the modern day SaaS applications present, right? So we have Google Sheets, we have Salesforce, we have Slack. So all of these three systems have APIs exposed. Then, do you process documents or images? Right now, we aren't processing any documents or images, right? So, and the third question would be, do you interact with websites or legacy? No. That is applications with no API. The answer to this is no. All of these three products have APIs exposed, and so we won't be, there is no legacy systems involved. If there was any legacy system involved, such as COBOL, or there is another an application in IBM, it's a legacy one, right? So if that was scenario, then you have be using MuleSoft RPA in one of the part. Then do you need to perform complex data processing? The answer to this is no, because right now we are just entering the lead data, and then we'll be creating that lead in Salesforce and thus push a message to the Slack channel informing the sales team over here. Then do you need to integrate systems not supported by Composer? No. As of now, we have all the three connectors available in our MuleSoft Composer, so we are not, making call out or interacting with systems that don't have any in MuleSoft Composer. And do you have extensive development experience? The answer to this would be no, because I am in an admin shoes, and I want to think from an admin perspective. So if suppose an user does not have any extensive development experience, the answer would be a no over here, right? And the other part would be, what if you want to automate the business process as soon as possible, right? So MuleSoft Composer can be used over here, right? Because without writing any code, you can rapidly create multiple flows and integrate and automate your business processes. Once you assess the technical requirement, you come to know that okay, MuleSoft Composer is the right product to be used in this scenario, right? Because it satisfies all of these questions, right? For example, your interface which has APIs, we have APIs. We can currently we are not processing any documents. Then we can also interact with websites or legacy systems. No, we are not. We aren't, right? And then we are not making. You are not doing any complex data processing over here, right? So we came to know that okay, we need to go with MuleSoft RPA. Now there are also a checklist of items that you have to do before starting your Composer flow automations. So first you need to check, like you need to ask yourself a question: where does the data come from and where does it go, right? So currently, if you think about this, the data comes from Google Sheet. It flows to Salesforce, where we'll create the lead record in Salesforce, and then we push a message to the Slack channel, right, in the Slack workspace. Then does the data needs to be filtered? Answer is partially yes and partially no over here, which I'll explain it in the next slide. And what transformations must be performed over here, right? Right now, we just want to make transformations such that the end systems accept the data, and they know that okay, what activity they need to perform, right? Then two different circumstances require different actions over here. Yes, because there are multiple Slack channels over here, right? So there are different circumstances present, and then determine the trigger, run, and the schedule, right? Over here you have to determine like when your Composer flow should be triggered. So if you think, these are all the answers to the checklist of items, right? So data comes from Google Sheet, it goes to Salesforce, and then it goes to Slack. Does the data needs to be filtered? No. All leads should be should be processed, right? What transformation must be performed? Convert the data in format that Salesforce and Slack requires, right? And then do different circumstances require different actions? Yes, relevant sales team must be informed depending upon the customer interest. So for example, if you think about this, if you open an organizations and you are selling bike and scooter, right? Now you must be having different sales team to handle different set of customers, right? And the same thing goes over here as well. Then you determine the trigger run schedule. So run after every new row is inserted in your Google Sheets, right? So I determined that okay, I need to run this Composer flow whenever a new row is inserted in Google Sheets. And at last, you have to outline your automation. So to help you better design and build, you need to use flowcharts over here, right? You all must be familiar with flowcharts, and the same thing we'll be using over here as well. And if you have used MuleSoft RP, you design similar thing, right, called BPMN, that is business process modeling, and you do something related like similar to over here as well, where you get an overall idea about your flow, right? So right now, if you see, we have a new lead is added in Google Sheets over here. Then we create a new lead created in Salesforce, and then we check if which product the customer is interested in. If the customer is interested in bike, then we will push a message to the bike sales team channel, right, to alert the sales team. Similar goes for if they are interested in general inquiry, right, then we have another set of salespeople who just work on like answering to general inquiry. And then if suppose there is another sales team present which only caters to scooter needs, then they would be, it would be pushed to that particular Slack channel over here. So you design something called as flowchart, right? So it's not a mandatory step, but I would say it's a recommended step, as it would help you to understand more about the business use case that you will be automating. So what I'll do is, yeah. So this is your composer flow, which I have already created in shortage of time. So in this composer flow, if you think, so what I'll do is I'll go to flows and
Megesh, can you little zoom it, please?
yeah,
The
I'll
font is very. Yeah.
hope
Thank
it's
you.
visible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a button over here called create new flow, right? And once you click on create new flow, you will come across this screen where you now define how you want to trigger your composer flow, right? So there are multiple options present over here. First one is a system event. For example, whenever you insert a row in your Google Sheets, your composer would be polling Google Sheets, and it would understand that, okay, a new no a data a row was entered in a Google Sheets, and it would further trigger, right? Same thing goes for Jira, whether whenever you would you have a new case or something like that in your Jira, or you have raised a ticket in Jira, then it would trigger your composer flow, right? And we also have Slack, Snowflake, and so many connectors available. So your composer flow would be triggering all of these connectors, and then it would further make the composer flow to be executed. Second option we have invoke. It's basically you are creating a webhook over here. If you don't know webhook, it's basically you are creating an API over here, so any external system can easily invoke your composer flow, right? So you don't it's not necessary for you to make your composer flow to run only at a particular action, right? So if I delete this step right now over here, so over here, I said this is a system event, right? I don't want my composer flow to be executed only on a system event is generated, right? I want it in case when an external system makes a call out to this composer flow, right? If they want to do perform some actions, right? So if you have used HubSpot, in HubSpot too, we have a webhook present, right? So what it does is you can just simply paste your composer flow. So whenever you activate a composer flow, it would return you a URL, a client ID, client secret, right? And then you also have an OS present. So all you have to do is you have to enter your those client ID, client secret, and URL in your HubSpot. And whenever an activity is performed in HubSpot, it's basically another CRM, so it would directly make a call out to this composer flow, right? So similar way, so we make use of invoke flow whenever I want an external system to invoke the composer flow explicitly, right? And what you do is you can define an input name. For example, you want the external system to pass these parameters mandatory, right? Like if any external system making caller to this composer flow, they need to pass some data to composer flow. It would further trigger down. And then we have an optional parameters over here, right? Either your composer flow, if you want to return some data from your composer flow to an external system that had made a caller, so you define over here, right? You define the label as well as the string, right? So this is all about your invoke. And the last option would be scheduler. Scheduler is basically when you want to trigger your composer flow by itself in interval of 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour or so, right? So you can also have a scheduler, and then you can define your actions present over here. This is all about the trigger perspective. And now right now, if we go back to our MuleSoft composer flows, so in this composer flow, what I do is, if you remember our use case, So whenever the sales team or the marketing team enters any data in their Google Sheets, I need to create a lead in Salesforce, and then I want to notify your Slack, the relevant sales team over the Slack channel. Right now, I have kept the business scenario quite simple because I want everyone to be able to understand the real capability of MuleSoft Composer. So what I do is I again make use of system event over here, and then I select Google Sheets. So we already have I already have these many connections created. You can yourself create a new connection by clicking on add new connections. Enter any name over here. For example, I want to give your name as uh, Singapore Meetup, and we can click on connect. So if you see, I get to sign in with Google option. Right now, this was not the case if we use any point platform. Right, I need to create client ID, client secret from uh, from your Google account, and then you have to paste in over here. Right, there are so many steps present, but right now, if you see, we I just entered the connection name and already have this sign in with Google option where I use the OAuth 2.0 over here, and then I have multiple accounts present. I can click on anyone over here, just provide access to your composer flows, and within no time I was able to create this connection right from my composer to my Google Sheet. It was so simple for me. So in the similar way, I had created this flow, I created this connection, and then I set the trigger to whenever I insert a new row, and then I define the spreadsheet, right? So which this is the spreadsheet which I was talking about. So you also get these many options present. So right now I am just selecting marketing event lead spreadsheet, and then worksheet name, and then this is the sheet name, that is sheet one, and then I set the polling frequency. This feature was newly introduced. Previously, by default, it was set to 15 seconds, and you didn't have any options to select. But right now, you have options like 15 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour. Right. So this is the polling frequency which you can set, and then once you create this connection and once you set all of these parameters, if you see, we have another button called select fields, and so whichever row you had created in spreadsheet, composer was able to automatically detect it and provide it to you, right? So we have company, email, first name, interested in, last name, phone number, and source. So these are the columns which composer is able to detect. And right now what I do is I will simply create a lead record in my Salesforce org with all the details that were entered in my in my Google Sheet over here. Once this new record is created in my Salesforce org, what I do is I now check in which product the customer is interested in. If the customer is interested particularly in the bikes, then I would particularly push a message to the Slack channel, all right, of my NTO bike sales team, informing them about this newly created lead record, right? So they can further, have a conversation with that particular lead and convert it into account and opportunity. The same thing goes over here as well. I have multiple conditions present. If an else block works exactly the same that you have in programming. If condition is true, then execute this set of actions. If condition is false, then execute other set of actions. It works exactly the same. So I then check like which product the customer is interested in. If the customer is interested in scooter, then I would push a message to the NTO scooter sales team channel, right? And informing them about the sales, about this newly created lead record. And the same thing would go for the general inquiry over here as well. So I don't want to lose any of those data, right? All data, like data is very valuable to organizations. Then we would simply create a lead record in our Salesforce, right? Even for general inquiries as well. So right now, what I want to do is, I'll just copy this one, right? And let me delete all the further rows, right? And right now, what we can do is we can simply click on the test option over here. Once you select the test option, what happens in the background is this Mule application is automatically deployed to Cloud Hub, right? And once it's deployed to Cloud Hub, so basically your MuleSoft Composer would be polling your Google Sheet continuously in order to understand that okay whether a new data was inserted in a Google Sheet, right? So right now I just clicked on test, and if you see, it is awaiting for trigger event, which means that it is continuously polling the external system, right? In our use case, it's Google Sheet. So if I go over here and if I paste in this information, right? Max, the mule, integration expert, then we have email ID, phone number, uh, then source company, and all of these options present, right? So let's wait for it to be triggered. In meantime, I would explain you about the uh, invocable composer flows, right? As said, this is a webhook where you can you can set multiple fields over here. The like any external system making a call out to this composer flow, they have to pass all the information. You have all the connectors available. So for connectors, if you click on plus, if you go to system actions, these are the list of connectors, right? And as said, we already have connectors for MuleSoft RPA, Marketing Cloud, Salesforce, right? So and suppose you have come across a system which don't like there is no connector available in MuleSoft Composer, we can directly make use of HTTP connector. So we just have to click on HTTP connector, and if you see, I have so many options present, right? So have all of these connections present like Salesforce DevOps, OpenAI Model, Google Gemini, and there are so many options present. So you can create a connection yourself, and this is also a very simple step. And right now if you go back, it's still waiting for the event to it's awaiting a trigger event. Let's wait for it to run. If I select MuleSoft RP as an option, I already had few of the connections present. And yeah, if you see, I can let it load. I'm not sure whether the connection. Yeah, see RSVP to Salesforce. So I had created a demo uh, RPA bot process called RSVP to Salesforce Community Events bot over here, right? So it provides you all the list of active RPA bot processes in your an RPA or in your RPA org, right? So whenever you create your RPA bot process and you activate it, then only you will be able to see your bot process over here. Think let's do one thing. Let's re-enter it again. Mm, yeah, it's saving. And now if you see, my Google, my MuleSoft Composer was able to detect like, okay, a new record was inserted in my Google Sheet, right? And now if you see, a new record was created in my Salesforce org, and it did return me an ID of that Salesforce org. And then we went into if condition, right? And we checked like in which product the customer was interested in. The customer was interested in bike, so we pushed a message to the bike channel, to the sales team, right? The bike sales team over here. And if I go over here, if you see, we put like this is the message that was pushed. Hey, sales research cheer up and all the information, right? So the sales team can directly open this lead record over a lead record, and they can start working on that lead. So this is all from the demo part of it, right? So this is the lead, and they can start working on that lead, make like contact the lead and convert them into account and opportunity. Uh, Go back. Yeah. So the other part would be talking about the errors, how we can handle errors in our composer flows, right? So previously there were no error handling present in composer flows, right? So the moment your automation breaks up, your entire process fails, right? And all. So it was a problematic because in many scenarios that I came across, business processes was failing, due to which the data was not consistent, right? So if I create a lead record, I want another external system, right, to have that lead record present, right? So it was very difficult. So right now we have like compose in MuleSoft has introduced composer like I would say error handlers. So we have a watch block and we have on error block, right? This connector or elements that could throw an error. So if you remember, we have try and catch block, right? It works exactly the same. So we put elements or connectors that can throw an error inside the watch block, and once an error is thrown, so we'll go to the on error block, and then we could define and then we can define steps to in order to cope up with the error, right? So if you have a closer look over here, once an error is thrown from the catch block, what we do is in error block we have so many conditions present, like conditions to run this branch, right? So we can set error handler to run only to handle specific errors, right? And then we have after running, which we can be continue or stop, right? So if you know about the error handling in your anypoint platform, right? So we have on error continue and on error propagate. It works exactly the same. If we select as continue, then it's like on error continue, it would simply skip the that particular flow, and it would then run some other flow, right? So it's exactly the same. So right now if I select continue, it would run all the connectors that are placed inside this, and then it would not throw an error, right? So this is continue. And for the stop, so once we select for an option, so it would basically again run all the elements that are present over here, but in your execution log it would be like the operation will be failed, right? And none of the other I would say connectors that or action steps that are placed outside this error handler would be executed. So this is all from the error handling part of it. It's exactly the same like how we have an error handling in your anypoint platform. So the error handler component consists of two blocks, the watch and the on error. The watch block would contain the elements which possibly would throw an error for some use cases, whereas the on error block would only run if the error is thrown from the elements present in the watch block. Whereas the elements present after the element that threw and would not be executed in the watch block that threw, right? So if suppose there are three or four components, and if the first component threw an error, the second, the third component inside the watch block won't be executed. Correct? It's if you think logically, that would be the scenario, right? And based on the configuration set on error handler component, the error handler would either stop the flow from running or let the flow continue to run even if the error is thrown. So this is all from an error handler part of it, right? I hope it's clear for you. And if you have a look for compose, like if suppose there is an error and I set the conditions to stop, then if you see we have this status as failed, right? So whenever this composer flow runs and the error handler is set to and the error handler condition is set to stop, then we have the status as failed over here. Coming down to connectors over here, I know this is a bit outdated, right? Right now we have 30 plus connectors in MuleSoft Composer, and every now and then the Composer team would add more and more connectors, as well as add more and more options or actions present in each of the connectors, right? And there is and the innovation is continuing every now and then. The other part would be if suppose the modern day SaaS application that your organization wants to use, right? And there is no connector available, then you can directly make use of the HTTP connector, because you can connect a composer with any modern day systems, right, which have API exposed. So this is all about the connectors, and moving down to the key considerations of MuleSoft Composer. So first of all, reusability, right? So reusable composer flow is possible via invocable MuleSoft Composer flows. As I said, this is basically a webhook, which means that any external systems can make a call out to your composer flow explicitly and perform actions. Then there is no concept of sandbox or production, right, in your composer flows. So what you can do is you can create connections to your sandboxes and production instances of each of the applications that you use. And the moment you want to switch it to production, you have to change all of those connections to your production, like the connections to should point to your production instances. The other part would be there is no versioning, right? For example, you have a composer flow created today, and you if suppose tomorrow there are some multiple actions present, right? So you can't version it, so you can't so whenever you make whenever you edit those composer flows, you can't go back and revert the changes that you made, right? So there is no concept of versioning as well. So other part what you can do over here is you can simply clone that composer flow, and then you can directly work on it, right? And it's near real time and not 100%. As I said, composer would be polling the external system, right? So it would be like, if suppose I set the trigger context as on a new row, if you saw, it was polling the system an interval of 15 seconds, right? So it's not real time, but it's near real time. So each record processed to a target system would count as each task, right? So and it's not meant for bulk data operations or very high data intensive operations, right? So Composer comes with a set of task or credit scores which you need to have a look, or you need to monitor it in each and every day. Because if suppose you want to process millions of record, right, using Composer, it would be much problematic for you, as Composer is meant for automating your day-to-day business processes and not to automate or carry out actions which are one time, right? For example, you want to migrate data from HubSpot here to Salesforce, right? So this, you can't use Composer for that scenario. Instead, for example, you are using HubSpot, or are using Salesforce, right? So you want the lead, if it's created in HubSpot, you also want it to be created in Salesforce. So in this scenario, you can use Composer. And the last question would be how you can get started in your Composer flow journey. So you can reach out to your partner organizations, get in touch with your Salesforce account executive to secure access to MuleSoft Composer. So whatever demo you saw today, the Composer org is not free at all. It was provided by my partner organization, and the same you have to request for it to your partner organization. The other part would be, we already have Trailblazer community group for Composer present, so you can join the Trailblazer community group and be active. So there are so many questions posted on this Trailblazer community forum, and you get to learn so many things about Composer, even though you don't have access to that Composer org. Then we do have Composer trail mix available, right, on Trailhead. So if you don't have any, I would say, if you don't have any Trailblazer ID present, you can just create your account in your Trailhead, because you get so many modules to learn about MuleSoft Anypoint platform, as well as MuleSoft Composer from Trailhead modules. As well as if you are working on this Trailhead modules, so there is also a Trailhead simulator available, which is, it's free. So it would basically give you an sense or essence of how Composer functions, while it's not exactly I would say a live Composer system over here. So again, these are this is the Trailblazer community MuleSoft Composer group. So you can just join this Composer group, post any questions, or you can post any of the learnings you had today about MuleSoft Composer in this community group. And yeah, that's all from my end. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, Megesh, thank you very much for giving the overview, and it's much insightful and much useful information that we have from you today. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. However, we have one question in the chat. If you can address that as well. There's a
Yep.
scenario which is being asked by Aliana. Can you look at the chat? Possible?
Yeah. Is it limited or anyone can? So, I mean, there are certain terms, right? For example, when so Composer. So I'm not fully aware about how many your task credits or task credit points would be consumed, but if you are only opted for your standalone Composer, right? For it can be installed as a managed package on your Salesforce production instance directly. In that scenario, you have these credit points, and for the task you have some 50 or 51 credit 50 credit, I would say, task present. So you have to use it efficiently across all the three systems present in your automation package, right? So I'm not fully aware about how, like, the conversion of the task to credit points or so. But the point would be, like, for Composer, I would say it is not meant for your bulk data operations. Like, it's meant to automate the business processes which are carried out daily, right? Yeah, and I hope it answers your question, Saliana. And can we call Composer from Flow Builder? Yes, we can do it. So if you are in India, I had presented at Salesforce Developer Days last year in Pune, where I had shown how you can make call out to MuleSoft Composer from your Salesforce Flow Builder with experience, like with we are making use of Salesforce Experience Cloud and integrating the Experience Cloud with your Composer flows, right? So I had showcased this use case, and you can make use of it, right? You can So there is functionality available in your Salesforce called external services, which by which you can make a caller to your composer flows. Uh, for bulk batch operations, uh, again, uh, for the bulk batch operations, are you particularly talking about composer, Eliana? Yeah. So again, I would say bulk and you can't work with composer for bulk and batch operations, right? It's like, for example, when you have a lead present in, like you have a data is flown to external system, right? You want the same propagated across multiple systems, right? At that very same time. And this is the use case for composer. For bulk and batch operations, I would say your anypoint platform is the best because you have direct access to data view by which you can do complex data transformations, right? Even in MuleSoft Composer, I have come across scenarios where I had to use anypoint platform to to process the data because it's not easy to do data transformations in MuleSoft Composer directly. I would say when it comes to bulk and batch operations, go with anypoint platform. When it comes to your light or you want to automate a day-to-day business process, go with your MuleSoft Composer. I hope it answers, Eliana. I think Sumit, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. So I just given everyone the presenter access so that everyone can come on video so that we can have one group photo. And thank you, Magesh, for answering all the queries.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's all right. It was my pleasure to present at Singapore Meetup.
Shall I stop recording, Sumit?
It's okay. I think let's have everyone in the video. I think let's get that recorded as well. Yeah. So I'll take a group picture. Hello, Aliana. Hello, Malesh. Thank you for joining. Hope to see you soon in Singapore in person meetup. Okay, done. Thank you very much, everyone, for making this happen. Hope to see you soon, and thank you, Megesh, once again for giving the very good, insightful, and very information topic and this, and having us for Singapore Meetup. Thank you very much. Hope to work with you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers. Bye
you.
bye.
And have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.